Hello, everybody. With the assignment today for grammar, I'm just going to walk you through how to look at these progressive forms of verbs. So there is a little bit of a hint area right here, which I can explain. And then as far as the assignment that's attached, it's right down here, and we'll look at it. Okay. So first thing, I guess I'll change this to verbs. There we go. Progressive forms of verbs are kind of tricky only because there are things that are currently ongoing, like they're still happening, or they were happening for a long time at one point. So they're not just easy to identify as being a past or present situation. There has to be a little bit of changing to the wordage and to the verb phrase. Okay. So, as it says in the description, the type of verb that occurs when the action was ongoing or is currently still ongoing. Okay. So, first thing to look at the hint here. Whenever you do past progressive or present progressive forms, you have two parts. One of them right here is the ing part, and the second part is to determine the past or present word that's going to go in front of it. Okay, so to give you an example, if you were going to say, I threw the ball, in order to change it to a progressive form, first of all, you have to change throw to throwing, and then you have to kind of backwards engineer this thing. You need to kind of reverse the process and read any sentence to yourself and think, okay, would it be was something ing, were something ing, am, are, or is? Okay, because those are your options. So, as an example, to look at these from the exercises 11 and 12, um, in exercise 11, it pretty much is straightforward, but it says for each sentence, write the present progressive or past progressive form of the verb that's already there. And then it also reminds you to be sure your sentences make sense. So, for an example, number one says, students today learn about African nations. So, we already know that we need to change the verb to an ing verb. Okay, so if we look at this word and we change learn to learning, you have to read the context clues within the sentence. So it says, students today learning about African nations. So if we know that this sentence says today, we have to choose from the present formats. So we know that am, are, or is would be our choices. So let's go back to it one more time. Okay, students today am learning about African nations. Students today are learning about African nations, or students today is learning about African nations. Okay. The obvious best choice here is students today are learning about African nations. So, as far as where you write your answer, for number one, you just put the new created verb phrase. So, are learning. Because again, if we go back, we know that it was in present tense. We know that am, are, or is are our only options. We also know that we have to change that original verb to ing. Even though it may read still the same, you're trying to portray that this thing was kind of ongoing at one point or it still currently is. Okay. So that's exercise 11, pretty much for each sentence writing the progressive form of this verb. For exercise 12, it's very similar, but it's a little different. It says for each sentence, write the progressive form of the verb. If the verb is in the present tense, change it to present progressive. If the verb is in the past tense, change it to past progressive. So here again is a little bit of reverse engineering for this. So what you do for exercise 12 is you read the sentence to yourself first, okay? And then obviously I've kind of gone ahead and pre-highlighted what the verb is, but you have to kind of work again in a reverse order. So we know that this see needs to be seeing. Now, it says for you basically to take a look at the original format that it's in right here. So we want to determine if it's past or present so far. So visitors see great differences across the continent. Well, we're going to go with the fact that it's probably present because if you did past, it would have said visitors saw great differences. Okay. So we know that it is present. Now, in order to make it present progressive, again, we have to go back and look. The am, are, and is would be our options. Okay, so look at that again. Visitors, now we know the word is see, and we need to add ing. So visitors am seeing great differences, visitors are seeing great differences, or visitors is seeing great differences. Okay, so clearly for this one, it's visitors are seeing as the verb phrase. Okay, so that's pretty much what you do for both of these, because in the top exercise 11 piece, it says write the present progressive form. Okay, and in this bottom one, it just says write the progressive form based off what it's already laid out as far as in the sentence. So if in the sentence it's already past form, you need to change it to past progressive. If it's in present form, you need to change it to present progressive. So again, you need to pay attention to the fact that you're making it an ing word. And then if it's past, you have a was or were option. If it's present, it's am, are, or is. Okay, so looking again at these, really every answer should be a two-word answer for both exercises. Because in this one, we're taking the original verb and making it a progressive verb phrase. And in this one, kind of the same deal. We're looking at what the original sentence is saying and determining on how we're going to rewrite it as the present progressive or the past progressive. Okay. So as far as this goes, this is pretty much it for the day. Like I told you all, I wanted to walk you through it because it is kind of an easy concept, especially if you just know the cheat sheet here, the little hint. It goes pretty smoothly. Okay, so as it says, make sure to complete both exercises 11 and 12. This hint section will just be here, obviously, to work with to remind you of how to change it and what your options are as far as words to add. And when you're completed with both 11 and 12 all the way, then you can submit all your answers to me. Okay. This verb unit is, again, kind of a bigger one. So we're going to continue talking about several different types of verbs for several different days here before we ever start talking about any kind of review or unit test. But just make sure, again, that you all are following along with these activities and just really making sure that you're nailing it down because a lot of them are very similar, but there are some slight differences. Okay. So thanks again, as always, for listening, and I hope to talk to you all really soon, and stay healthy and stay safe, and we'll see you all very soon. All right. Bye.